Detectives from the Kingston Eastern Police Division are urging 46-year-old Glenford Henry, whose last known address is Lincoln Road, Kingston 16, to turn himself into the police immediately. Henry is wanted by the police in relation to the murder of his 16-year-old grandniece, Sarika Pickart, on Cumberland Avenue in Kingston 16 on Saturday. He is also wanted for shooting with intent and the injury of a woman in the same incident. Reports coming into our news center are that at approximately 5:30 p.m., Sarika was at home when an argument reportedly developed and she was fatally shot by Henry, who is said to be her granduncle. He was recently deported from the United States. Further reports are that while he was making his escape from the scene, Henry opened fire at an unmarked police vehicle and another motor vehicle, resulting in a female police officer being shot and injured. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Glenford Henry is being asked to contact the Elletson Road Police at 876-928-4200, Police Emergency 119, Crime Stop at 311, or the nearest police station. In other news tonight, the police are seeking the public's assistance to find 35-year-old Carl Young of Bobman Hill, Lilliput in St. James, who has been missing since November 19. Carl is of dark complexion, medium build, and is approximately 5 feet 11 inches tall. He also has a scar above his left eye. Reports from the Barrett Town Police are that Young was last seen at home at approximately 1 p.m. wearing a pair of gray shorts and a gray and black t-shirt. He has not been heard from since. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Carl Young is being asked to contact the Barrett Town Police at 876-953-7899, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. Still making Mellow TV news, an unidentified man was fatally shot in Freetown, Clarendon this morning. Information coming into our news center is that a group of men broke into a container which is used as a shop at approximately 3:45 a.m. where they stole several items. The men were surprised by residents from the area and fled to a premises nearby where a policeman resides. Reports are that the policeman heard a strange sound outside his house and went to investigate. He saw the men in his yard, which resulted in a gunfight. Now, when the shooting subsided, one of the men was seen on the ground suffering from what appeared to be gunshot injuries. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Clarendon Police and Indicom are investigating the incident. We will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. Continuing with the news tonight, the Westmoreland Police say they have not yet laid criminal charges against the two suspects who were taken into custody in connection with the murder of trainee police constable Duvon Brown last Wednesday night. Brown was fatally shot in Nago Town while on his way to a shop in the community. The suspects were taken into custody shortly after his death on Thursday. Following the officer's death, Prime Minister Andrew Holness and other government officials carried out a tour of the parish and also paid a visit to Constable Brown's relatives. Mr. Holness expressed condolences to Brown's family and assured them that the police are working very hard to make sure that the persons involved in his death are brought to justice. The Prime Minister also assured the residents that he and the government will do everything possible to assist them in their time of need. The shooting occurred at approximately 9:30 p.m. last Wednesday after the victim went to a nearby shop in his community. He was then pounced upon by armed men who shot him multiple times. In other news tonight, Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson toured several divisions of Police Area 4 yesterday. He was accompanied by Assistant Commissioner of Police Donovan Graham, who is in charge of Area 4. Major General Anderson met with divisional commanders of the St. Andrew South Division, the Kingston Central, Kingston Western, and Kingston Eastern Divisions. Also, what was central to the tour, which began at 8 p.m., was the visiting of several checkpoints across the divisions that form part of the recently announced state of public emergency in parts of the corporate area. Major General Anderson said it is important to be on the ground with the men and women of the constabulary force to ensure that their welfare is being taken care of and that they are adequately equipped to effectively carry out their duties.
Well, there are two sides to it. One is the operations themselves and the operational positions, how we've deployed persons, and just what is happening at the various checkpoints and within the spaces that have been declared a state of public emergency. The other side of it is the conditions that the members are working in, that their welfare concerns are being taken care of, which is of paramount importance, because we've demanded a lot of our members, we ask a lot of them, and I want to make sure that they are supported as best as we can on this operation.
He also said that there have been improvements in the incidence of violent crimes in the first 6 days of the SOPE.
Well, there's clearly a great concern for the welfare of members from the command down here, from the divisional commander and his team. He set up a specific team that is only for this purpose, to deal with the welfare, and as within the scope of what is available to him, he has been certainly taking care of the men under his command. Well, I think it is successful. It doesn't mean by any means that the guys have everything they need, but within the scope of the resources available to the commander, he has deployed those resources. But I think more importantly, there is a constant interest in the men and women and their well-being. So it isn't just a matter of deploying them. The command team is out with them, supporting them, and collectively delivering what we've seen so far as a very credible operation on the ground.
The Jamaica College Board has confirmed that former Minister of Education and Principal Ruel Reid has resigned as principal of the institution. The JC's board also released a short statement yesterday indicating that Reid tendered his resignation in the presence of his lawyer, which has been accepted. Reid, whose leave ended on Saturday, November 20, had originally intended to apply for an additional 5-year extension, but this was forfeited following the arrangements made leading up to his resignation. The former education minister, who was slated to retire in 2026, was already given 2 years special leave with full salary since his arrest for corruption in 2019. His position as principal of Jamaica College on special leave drew national attention after it was made public that he was still earning his salary, amounting to over $11 million since 2019. And during the same period, the government paid a similar amount to acting principal Wayne Robinson. Reid, his wife and daughter, along with president of the Caribbean Maritime University, Professor Fritz Pinnock, and councillor for the Brownstown Division, are currently before the court on a multi-million-dollar corruption charge. Still tonight, despite the reassurance by Prime Minister Andrew Holness that a local government election will not be called at this time, the People's National Party, PNP, has intensified its campaign towards an upcoming local government election. The local government election is constitutionally due by February of next year, and despite no signal being given by Prime Minister Andrew Holness that it will be called before the due date, the PNP is reportedly not taking any chances. Leader of the opposition Mark Golding and members of the PNP toured sections of Manchester and Clarendon on the weekend. Mr. Golding announced that party candidates for divisions across the parish are all working on the ground in support of residents in their communities. He stated that they have all been getting full support from the residents within their division and that they will be coming out much stronger on this occasion to remind Jamaicans what the PNP is all about. Mr. Goulding said that the party will be carrying out more tours across several other divisions leading up to the end of this year, and they will now be moving around in Region 5 and then heading on to Region 4, where they will be turning up the notch. In tonight's COVID-19 update, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has reported 102 new COVID-19 cases and 1 death, increasing the country's infection total to 90,807 and total deaths now to 2,359. The latest death is of a 91-year-old female from Kingston and St. Andrew. The death occurred on November 20, 2021. The new cases comprise 65 females and 35 males, ranging in age from 2 to 98 years. The cases were recorded in St. Mary with 24 cases. Kingston and St. Andrew recorded 23 cases. St. Anne and St. Catherine recorded 12 cases each. Clarendon recorded 8 cases. Trelawney recorded 6. St. James, 5. St. Elizabeth recorded 3 cases. Hanover, Manchester, St. Thomas, and Westmoreland recorded 2 cases each, while Portland recorded 1 case. In the meantime, 116 additional persons recovered from the virus in the last 24 hours, increasing the total of recovered persons now to 61,836. And as we continue with the news tonight, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says his ministry will establish gastronomy tourism corridors in select areas in Kingston to leverage Jamaica's culinary tourism offerings and bolster Kingston's position as a premier tourist destination. Mr. Bartlett made the announcement during the Jamaica Food and Drink Kitchen launch at the Progressive Plaza located along Barbican Road in Kingston. The minister added that this corridor will also include New Kingston, which has several eateries, restaurants, and hotels, primarily along Knutsford Boulevard. The gastronomy tourism corridor from Knutsford Boulevard will continue along Trafalgar Road, leading to Devon House, then to Lady Musgrave Road to encapsulate the hotels and eateries in that area. Mr. Bartlett said, quote, "We are going to ensure that Kingston takes its place as the mega tourism city with food, entertainment, sports, and knowledge as the center of its appeal." End quote. The Jamaica Food and Drink Kitchen is Jamaica's newest culinary initiative. It is the first of its kind on the island and boasts a gourmet market, mixology counter, fully equipped studio kitchen, and entertainment deck. It will also be home to the annual Jamaica Food and Drink Festival, with this year's staging JFDF 2021 in the kitchen, offering 24 culinary events over 12 days. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mellow TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelly Ann Hill. Do stay safe and pleasant viewing.